Renu Rana Ra.
On this occasion we will discuss the history of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was born on April 26, 121 AD in Rome under the birth name Marcus Annius Verus. His life journey made his name change to Caesar Marcus Aurelius Antoninus Augustus, or Marcus Aurelius in short. She was adopted first by Emperor Hadrian and then by Antoninus Pius. Marcus was educated by the best teachers in rhetoric, poetry, Greek, Latin, and of course, philosophy. The latter was a lesson he valued above all else, and it was what had the greatest impact on the young man. 2nd century Roman historian Cassius Dio said of Marcus that, in addition to possessing all the other virtues, he ruled better than any other person who has ever been in any position of power. To be sure, he cannot display many feats of physical prowess, yet he has developed his body from that of the very weak to that of one capable of the greatest endurance. He himself, then, refrains from all offenses and does nothing wrong. Whether willful or unintentional, but the transgressions of others, especially those of his wife, he tolerated, and did not investigate or punish them. As long as someone does something good, he will praise it and use it for the service he is good at, but for the rest of his behavior he pays no attention, for he states that it is impossible for a person to create such people as one wishes, and it is therefore appropriate to employ those already in existence for whatever service each of them may be able to render to the state. And that his whole conduct was not out of pretense but out of real superiority is obvious, for though he lived 58 years, 10 months, and 22 days, in which he had spent most of his time as assistant to first Antoninus, and has been emperor himself 19 years and 11 days, but from first to last he has remained the same and hasn't changed a bit. So he really is a good man and without pretense. Marcus is best remembered for his surviving text work, which is now called the Meditations. It was the emperor's personal journal, which recounted all of his innermost thoughts. We see in the Meditations that Marcus uses his knowledge of Stoic philosophy to change his behavior. He was actually involved in what we now know as cognitive behavioral therapy. The strength and grace of her character won her the respect of the upper classes as well as the plebeians. Marcus' goal is to be the best, the most virtuous, person he can be. He sees himself and the world in which he lives, which is full of turmoil, from a cosmic perspective. Seeing that he has fundamental obligations to other human beings, such as Socrates. He did not see himself as just a Roman emperor, or a Roman citizen, or a Latin citizen, but a citizen of the world, a cosmopolitan of the world. This is his truest understanding. Marcus' Stoicism is unique. Unlike his Stoic predecessors, we see how the emperor was able to overcome the extraordinary difficulties he faced. He was a sickly man, who had to deal with constant political intrigue, wars on the borders and difficult family affairs. Despite all that, he was still able to control his emotions, rule in an orderly and just manner, and of course cultivate his own virtue. However, he did not have the luck he deserved, because he was not physically strong and was involved in many problems during almost his entire reign. But as for me, I admire him more for this reason, that amidst great and extraordinary difficulties, he survive and defend the empire, wrote Dio of Marcus Aurelius as reported by the World History Encyclopedia. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of all Rome, a king for hundreds of thousands of people, and a philosopher. He was the king of Roman philosophers for 19 years. As a Stoic, Marcus has an unwavering sense of duty to those below him in the hierarchy. He is a man of service and will do all that is necessary to see his purpose fulfilled. When the Germanic tribes began to raid the northern frontiers, Marcus, instead of raising taxes on the public to finance the campaign, sold all of his imperial possessions to pay for the effort. He saw such an act not only as a necessary one, but one that his duty required to be in such a position of wealth and power. The emperor lived his whole life as a true philosopher. He spoke like a philosopher and he ruled like a philosopher. Marcus had such a great composure, that he never changed his expression, whether in sorrow or joy. This attitude devoted to Stoic philosophy he had learned from the best teachers and had acquired himself from every source. Thank you for following our videos. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe so you can always follow video updates from us.